Hello, you're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to English News Broadcast. These are the major headlines. President Isaias Afwerki conducted extensive interview with national media outlets. Official commemoration of Operation Fenkel conducted today. UN chief says fighting has escalated in Libya. And Russia condemns U.S. policy in Venezuela. The local news. In the first part of the interview with ERi-TV and Radio Dimsa Hafash, President Isaias Afwerki elaborated the recent developments in the region from Eritrea's perspective policy stance. President Isaias acknowledged the historic and bold initiative of Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed for fully accepting the EEBC ruling and initiating reform of policy of institutionalized Ethiopic polarization of Ethiopia. President Isaias also underlined and expressed respect to the unparalleled resilience of the Eritrean people, which was essential in precipitating and securing the new positive climate of regional peace. President Isaias further alluded to the antics and obstructionist stance of the bankrupt clique bent on rolling back the peace process, including full restitution of Eritrean sovereignty embodiment as provided by key pillars to the peace agreement and the reform in Ethiopia. As regards to Sudan, President Isaias underlined that the demise of the now defunct regime, which was sponsoring fundamentalist extremism, will have dividends to the Sudan, and as a while, although the challenges to the transition remain substantial. President Isaias further explained on Eritrea's 11-point policy stance on the structured framework of security and developmental cooperation of the Red Sea littoral states in this vital international maritime route. The second part of the interview of President Isaias will continue tomorrow at 8 p.m. local time. The official ceremony of the commemoration of the 30th anniversary of Operation Fenkel, which was conducted today, was enthusiasm under the theme Operation Fenkel for Development. At the official ceremony that was attended by President Isaias Afwerki, ministers, government and PFDG officials, army commanders, and a number of nationals, the governor of the Northern Red Sea region, Brigadier General Tekhla Lipsu, said national holidays are reminders for renewing commitment to preserve and strengthen the peace that is attained through strong perseverance and resilience of the Eritrean people and its leadership. The chairperson of the Holidays Coordinating Committee in the Northern Red Sea region, Ms. Zainab Omar, commended those that contributed for the colorful commemoration event. The 30th anniversary commemoration of Operation Fenkel will continue until tomorrow under the theme Operation Fenkel for Development. President Isaias Afwerki this morning laid wreath at the Massawa's Toilet Martyrs Cemetery in commemoration of the gallant freedom fighters who paid ultimate price to liberate their people and country. Mr. Al-Amin Mohammed Said, Secretary of the PFDJ, General Filippo Sildoyahannes, Chief of Staff of the Eritrean Defense Forces, Mr. Khatasfa Mikhail, President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, Brigadier General Tekhla Lipsu, Governor of the Northern Red Sea region, and Mr. Haile Asfaha, Administrator of the Port City of Massawa, also laid wreath. International Day of Zero Tolerance for FGM was observed on February 6 at national level in Baranto City under the theme Ending FGM with Power of the Youth. The aim of the observance of the day is to amplify and direct the efforts to the elimination of the practice that is mentally, physically, and socio-economically affecting women. At the event, in which senior Gash Bakar regional administrators and heads of health institutions, religious leaders, representatives of the public and international institutions took part. There's debating and discussion forums, as well as sports and cultural activities, were conducted highlighting the negative impacts of FGM practice, thereby raising awareness. Speaking at the event, Mr. Franco Kubaba, Director General of Social Services and Chairman of the Committee for Limiting FGM Practice in the Gashbaka region, stated that a committee with the objective of fighting against FGM and underage marriages as well as ensuring child rights has been established by the joint effort of the Regional Administration, Regional Branch of NUEW, and Regional Branch of the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare. Mr. Franco also said that committee is working in tandem with representatives of the public, administration of subzones and administrative areas. The Director of Community and Family Affairs at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Burhana Haile, pointed out that FGM practices have no religious or legal rights at all and said that encouraging outcome is being registered from the anti-FGM efforts nationwide. Dr. Burhana, however, stated that compared to other regions, the harmful practice is more common in the Gashbaka region and called for reinforced integrated effort to that end. Religious leaders and village elders pointed out that societal awareness on FGM practices have increased and that only few practice it, and expressed readiness to strengthen effort in organizing awareness-raising campaigns in their respective areas. In a speech they delivered, the representatives of UNICEF and UNFP, United Nations Population Fund, and their part stated the government and people of Eritrea are rigorously working towards reducing FGM to zero in accordance with the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, and expressed readiness of the UN organizations in Eritrea to continue supporting the endeavors. During the Observance Day, various artistic performances, testimonies of women victims of FGM practices, as well as health practitioners were presented. Certificates of recognition were also handed over to individuals that played an exemplary role in the fight against the practice of FGM. Now we're back with international news after a short break. Welcome back. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep frustration with the situation in Libya, where he says fighting has escalated. Speaking at a news conference at the UN headquarters in New York, Guterres criticized the countries that met in the German capital Berlin last month to push for peace in Libya, saying violations of a UN arms embargo on the North African country continued, despite agreements reached by the parties at the Peace Summit. On January 19th, countries participating in this Peace Summit for Libya in Berlin agreed to respect the existing arms embargo on Libya and laid out plans to monitor its implementation. The participants were the United States, Russia, Turkey, Egypt, the European Union, and the African Union. Guterres called the situation in Libya a scandal, saying the only good news there was the mediation of efforts of the UN's envoy for the country, Ghassan Salam. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov denounced U.S. foreign policy in Venezuela, criticizing U.S. provocations and attempts to create what he called a pretext for military intervention. Lavrov's condemnation of Washington on a low-profile visit to Mexico came at an awkward time for the host nation. Mexico's government has been going out of its way to avoid antagonizing Trump administration, meeting its demands over immigration and other issues to avoid punitive U.S. measures. Russia and the United States have repeatedly clashed over Venezuela, where Russian oil companies and military advisors are playing a key role in support of the socialist government of President Nicolás Maduro. The United States and dozens of other countries recognize opposition leader Juan Guaido, who has been trying to oust Maduro as Venezuela's rightful president. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.